כבוד הרבנים, כבוד Mr. Moshe Ben, President of the Orthodox Union, Mr. Ellen Fagan, Executive Vice President of the Orthodox Union, Moshe Orenbach, President of the American Friends of Yeshivat Shaalvim, Jake Weichholt, Chairman of the Board. Three people that worked very, very hard to arrange this evening: Meir Rosenfeld, Rabbi Reuven Unger, and Chaim Liptak. The chairmen of the dinner, Steve Wagner and Baruch Weinstein. The special honorees of tonight's dinner, Talmidei v'Talmidot, Shaalvim in the present, in the past, parents, supporters, friends of the yeshiva, Kahal Kadosh. I want to share with you, I want only to introduce the people that came with me from Israel. Rabbi Waxman, the Menahel of the Moti Horenstein Institute, of Yamin Goldschmidt, the Menahel of Shaalvim for Women, Tzvi Samuel, Director General of Shaalvim, and Yuda Freudiger, Deputy Director of Yeshivat Shaalvim. I want to share with you, please, in the few minutes that I have, a special experience that I had a week ago. 2 weeks ago, I got a phone from another Hesder Yeshiva that they heard that Shaalvim has a very special philosophical and educational approach, and they want to come 11 Rabbanim and to hear what is the education and the philosophical approach of the yeshiva. We sat last week, and I prepared a sheet of sources, and through the sources I explained the educational approach. I won't do it here because it took almost 2 hours, and I understand that I don't have that time. But I will try in 5 minutes to summarize 3 paragraphs that we discussed, that I really think that explain the spirit, the unique, and what makes Shaalvim so special. The first paragraph was a letter from Michtav Me'Eliyahu. 70 years ago, a man was considering where to send his son that was young. He went to a Talmud Torah in Yerushalayim. The Rebbe stood in the middle. The kids were around. He said a pasuk, everyone repeated the pasuk. Second pasuk, everyone repeated it. And there was a lot of energy and love, creativity in the room. He went to another school. The Rebbe came in the morning, gave pamphlets to the people, to the students, so everyone could go his own speed, went around to correct them, and this is how it was handled. He didn't know what is better. In those days, 70 years ago, it took 2 days to go from Yerushalayim to Bnei Brak, and he went these 2 days from Yerushalayim to Bnei Brak in order to ask the Chazon Ish which school to send to. Came to the Chazon Ish, waited in line, described to him the 2 schools, and then the Chazon Ish said in a very clear way, send to the first one. He wanted to ask why, but the Shamus came, and the Shamus said, your time is over, pushed him aside, brought the next one. He said, look, but I came 2 days from Yerushalayim. I want an answer. He said, the other one came from Tveria. Don't worry. So he wrote to Rav Dessler and he says, you go to the Chazon Ish and you explain to me why. And Rav Dessler answered to him. And Rav Dessler says, in Torah, the main thing that a Rebbe have to give is the Kedusha, the Chavivut, the Ahavat Torah. Ze ikar halimud, and you don't have it about any other topic. And the main question is, says Rav Dessler, How really to combine the two schools together. How to teach deep, everyone according to his potential, and in the same time to teach to the heart, to the neshama, with spirit, with love. Because if there is no love and if the learning doesn't come to be part of my identity, I don't like it, then it won't stay. And yeshiva and Shaalvim for women are not only places for now, they are places for the future. The main question is how a guy will look another 20, 30, 40, 50 years. If there is no love to Torah, it won't stay. I explained to these other rabbis that I think what is special, at least we are trying and having siyata d'ishmaya. Next year we're having more than 100, almost 110 new students to the yeshiva, 70 Americans, I hope 40 Israelis. I think what makes Shaalvim special is this combination. Challenging in learning, deepness, wide learning, the whole parts of Torah, and in the same time, giving the love of Torah, giving the warm connection to the Rabbanim, going to their houses, discussing life, how you make Torah and life together, feeling a family. In my understanding, if a guy loves yeshiva, then he loves Torah. Second paragraph was Rav Hutner. A doctor wrote to him that he feels very split and torn. The way how he's in hospital and the way how at night he lives with Chavruta. And Rav Hutner tells him, you are making a tremendous mistake. You are living double life. Two personalities, one in the morning, one in the evening. It's not bechol drachecha de'eu. You don't take Torah to your hospital, to your work. He says, once I visited Shaarei Tzedek, I saw Dr. Valach. Before operation, he said Tehillim, and then he started the operation. You should do the same thing. You should live life of a circle and not life of a line. Life of a line is you have things close to Hashem and you have things far from Hashem. Circle can be very wide. It can take occupation. It can take learning for occupation. It can take everything. But if it has to be in a circle that Hashem is connected to all the things. And this is Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. All your life have to be one. That was the second paragraph. And the third paragraph, and here I want to be makdash to dedicate it to our special guest of honorees, Stephen and Helena Yusdan, was a quotation of Rab Shimon Shkap in beginning of his book, Shara Yosher, in the introduction. And he says the main question is when you say the word I, to whom do you mean? Do you mean yourself? Do you mean only yourself, your family, your community, or Klal Yisrael? And I explained what I'm trying to do in Shaalvim is to give everyone a feeling that he is ambassador, that he have responsibility on Klal Yisrael, that he have to affect Klal Yisrael, and he can do it. And when he says the word I, he really means Klal Yisrael. We sent a group for Shabbat in Ramot Meir to prepare a special Shabbos with the settlements there, and they called me later and they said they never had a Shabbos like that. And other things that we want the guys to do to be influencing Klal Yisrael. And here I want to relate to Stephen and Helena, because I think that this idea of helping Klal Yisrael is really the description of who they are. It's not an additional thing in their life. It's simply understanding that this is their mission. This is who they are in the inside. To help Klal Yisrael, if it's in Bet Sefer Yavne in Los Angeles, High Life. I will give examples from our yeshiva because this I know the best. Only about tonight, I called them and I asked them to be the honorees. The answer was, we don't want it. Especially not a week before a wedding. Mazel tov. But if it can help yeshiva, even that we don't want it, not only that we are zero, we don't care, we don't want it. But if it can help yeshiva, this is what we do. And for the last 25 years, I really felt, and the whole yeshiva felt, partners. People that want to help whenever there is needed to the yeshiva. Arranging events in Los Angeles, sitting with the board and thinking how we can do things better. Putting the life, calling me and asking, can we help in this, can we help in that? And you really see that helping Klal Yisrael come to be their identity. And I think that there is something else that describes Stephen and Helena. And this is the Mishnah in Avot. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says, what is the best way that a man should go? One says, Ain Tova. The other one says, Chaver Tov, Shachen Tov. Rab Shimon says, the one that sees the future. And Rab Lezer says, Lev Tov. Says Rab Shimon by Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, if you have a good heart, it includes everything. Ask the Mefarshim, I understand. Ain Tova, Chaver Tov, Shachen Tov. But how is connected to seeing the future? But the understanding is that if you don't have a gold heart, you only think about yourself, you are stuck, you can't have a vision. If you see the whole world with gold heart, you are open to see the future, you are open to see vision. And this is in my understanding what is so special about Stephen and Helena, taking care of Klal Yisrael and having a gold heart, that they really cause them to have a vision and to take the details how that vision will be reality. May I call, please, Stephen and Helena? כל מי שעוסקים בצורכי ציבור באמונה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ישלם שכרם. Stephen and Elena Yuzdan, guest of honors, with abounding respect for your commitments to Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, and Torat Yisrael, which are the foundations of our yeshiva and its talmidim, Yeshivat Shaalvim, Hey Tammuz, Tafshin Ayin Chet, 18 of June, 2018, 2018. Before I finish, please, I want to go to one more thing that the Yeshiva experienced 2 months ago. Very hard experience. But because I see everyone here as partners, I feel that I can share with you what Yeshiva was over. Eliyahu Drori, the student that was killed 2 months ago, defending Am Yisrael, came to yeshiva 3 years ago, came to my room and said, I want to learn only here because the main thing for me is building personality and I know that this I can do here. I was shocked. Usually a student understand that after a few months. He understood it a few months before he came to yeshiva. Always with a smile, always with wanting to grow. Motzei Shabbat that it happened, I called the parents and I said, I'm on my way. They said, look, we are going now over to say to the sister, to the brothers, we don't want that they will hear it from the media. We're only coming back after 2 o'clock at night. I said, look, if it's late for you, then I won't come. If you are saying don't come because it's late for me, then I'm on my way. They said, so please come. We went through Rabbanim, and you're asking yourself, what will you say? What will you say when you open the door? I gave a tremendous hug to the father, and I told him, and I repeated it, and even went longer, a few days after when we brought the whole yeshiva together in the shiva. And I told him that 25 years ago, another student of the yeshiva was killed, Shlomo Oman, Hashem Yikom Damav. And Professor Oman, that got years later Nobel Prize, was davening in Yeshivat Netzach Israel of Rav Gusman and hearing a shir. Rav Gusman came to the funeral, and immediately after the funeral, he told the driver, we are not going now to Yeshiva. I want to go to the house of Professor Oman, the father. The driver told Rav Gusman, but they're only starting to sit now. Maybe you want to come tomorrow, another day. He said, no, I want in the beginning. I want them to hear what I have to say. They came, and he said, look, from the time that I came to Eretz Israel, I never spoke about it. But I want you to know that I had a son in the name of Meirke. The Nazis took it from me, and I was left with a shoe. Here is the shoe. And I heard that they are throwing him on a track, and I heard the smash of a track. And now your son is meeting my son. Mary is meeting Shlomo. But Mary is telling Shlomo, you go ahead. You'll be the chazan. You're in a higher level than me. Because I was forced. You had a choice not to go to the army, and you decided that you want to defend Am Yisrael. I was in a time of Chilul Hashem. You were in a time of Kiddush Hashem. I was nirdaf. They came to me. You were rodef. You ran after them, after the enemy. Therefore, you're in a different place. And Professor Oman said, Nichamtani, Nichamtani. I told that to the father of Eliyahu that made Aliyah 18 years ago from Los Angeles. Yesterday, we were in Los Angeles, and I asked to meet the family and tell them this story and describe who was Eliyahu. And the father told me something that I want to share with you because it really caused me a lot of thinking. He said, look, all my life I told Eliyahu that I want him to have two things. I want him to be spiritual, and I want him to be happy. One day, they came to your house, and you made a bait cham in your house with a coffee and a cake, and you explained to them that spirituality causes happiness, and it's really the same thing. So he came home, and he said, Daddy, why do you say it's two different things? It's really the same thing. If you are spiritual, you are happy. And I told him, I knew that, but I wanted you to figure it yourself. Therefore, I said it's two things in order that you will come to me and tell me that it's one. And if you tell me now that Eliyahu is in the highest spiritual place, for me, this is the biggest nechama. And I think that another message of yeshiva, and with this I'll finish, is really this idea of happiness that comes from Torah. The evening, Motzei Shabbat, before the Americans left, there was Aseh Lecharav. They came with 40 questions, and I had time only to 6. And usually, the questions repeat themselves. Questions how to combine Torah and life, questions about Shidduchim, and different topics. But this year, there was a question that I never had years before. The question was, if you can say one sentence to all the Jews of the world, which sentence would you say? I had to choose one sentence, and it took me an hour to decide the sentence. But the sentence was very clear. Hashem loves you, and Torah gives happiness. This, I think, has to be the message. Spirituality gives happiness. This is what makes Shaalvim unique. Combination of warm heart, identity, and challenging. Broad life of Torah, taking care to Klal Israel, and radiating Simchat Torah. May we daven for Siyata Dishmaya, that Hashem will continue, that our yeshiva will succeed to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. Thank you very much. If I'm allowed to apologize, please, especially to the other honorees, that I won't be in the time that they will be respected. My brother-in-law was nifter, and I feel responsibility to come and be with my sister, with my mother, with the family. So I'm living now to Eretz Israel. It's not easy for me, because I want to be here with you, I want to be with the other honorees, but I feel that I have this responsibility, so slicha ve'erev tov.